Hi everyone. Hi all communication coaches and trainers. Thanks for being part of this group. I know voice modulation is the second time we're getting a request on that. And quickly to just talk about three things that could help you record your reels or videos better. The most important, and I don't know how many times I've said this, but I'm going to repeat that: be authentic and be consistent with your message. So one thing important is to also look at the background. Sometimes when you're recording, just look at the background. It does not matter how your background looks, but the lighting of the background really matters. So it just ensure that it's bright enough, because the moment the video comes in, and if my tonality is low or my tone or pitch is really low, the background also kinds of adds to that. So the vibe actually builds up if you're able to have a brighter background. If you're not somebody who's very comfortable with this light, or you feel that it's too much and I'm not really comfortable, use the natural light. Use times when, specifically the evening. All of us know, all photographers talk about it. We know that the evening light, which is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or 4 to 5:30, whatever the sunset time, is the right time to shoot. Otherwise, if you're a morning person, use the morning time, natural light, to shoot your reels first. So if the background really doesn't matter in terms of the colors, try to keep it pastel and neutral. Why am I saying that? Because if you're wearing something in terms of patterns, or you're wearing a lot of design or a darker color, it kind of blends in. So it's always good to have a neutral background. So if you see the background behind it, there is a ceiling fan and there's everything, but the background needs to be subtle so that people do not really get distracted by what is around, right? And natural light works the best, but preferably if you have a lot of sound and noise, background noise, it's always good to do it during the night or the evenings when you feel there's not too much noise around. But if you're somebody who does not like these lights, LED ones, use your natural light whenever it is possible for you to use your office room or your work from home space in the natural light setting. Now, when I talk about voice modulation, again, record, practice, rehearse. Record, practice, rehearse. So if you have a script, just see that the script is timed for 60 seconds if you're doing a 1 minute reel. But if you feel that you have more than 3 points, time yourself to see if it is within the 60 seconds limit. If not, your message may not be really clear, right? So if I go back to the video that was shared on the particular topic called STAR method, right? So I'll go back and talk about the same topic in a different way for us to see how it can help candidates. Now, candidates mostly are asked questions where they have to use, they really do not have to, but they have to kind of use the business storytelling method, or a typical competency interview based method where they describe a situation. This is also used in situation based trainings, interviews, or competency based interviews, right? So I'm just giving a background of what Surya had posted and why we could use that method. So Surya, just to give a context, or maybe a hook line for that kind of video, is to just tell that, have you been stuck with situation-based interviews? Do you think that you're not very comfortable answering question when it comes to a particular event, success, achievements in your organization? Here is a tip that would work. Let's do this method. So what I've done is I'm actually showing up so that text appears on the top. Most people's focus move away from my face because sometimes we're not comfortable showing up our face. So that text is right up there and they will actually notice that. So then you can talk about, the first thing is situation. Just give a quick example of what situation is. So for example, if you've been asked about decision making skills in an interview, talk about the time in your career when you made a decision for your team. That's a situation. Talk about the task which you were assigned. So while you were making that decision, before that, this was the task and the job role that you were in. Also, post this crisis that happened, these are the actions that you took, and R, which is the result. What happened because you took these actions? Now, this is a way of bringing in the same video. I almost used 65 seconds because this was not a planned script. But if you want to do a planned script, you can do that. So this this. Like I've used my fingers and I've shown that there are 4 pointers, right? So the audience attention goes to these 4 pointers. If I feel I'm not very comfortable with seeing myself, that's the first method. The second, Surya, is to also reverse your camera, which you see a lot of Instagram influencers talk about. Reverse it and then record it, because then you're not seeing yourself and you're not very uncomfortable with seeing yourself. That's there for most of us. So you can do the reverse camera method, right? The front camera method does not work. What works for most people to be confident is do not look at your own image while you're recording. It makes you awkward. You sometimes get jittery and you sometimes get, you feel weird looking at yourself. So look at that small icon, that small camera button, and talk as if you're talking to that camera and not talking to yourself. And that makes it uncomfortable. Then, one is authenticity. Keep your background very neutral. Keep it something which you're very comfortable with. Natural light, if that works for you. Otherwise, keep the setting neutral with an LED light, and you can wear whatever you want to wear. Second is use more gestures in terms of, the text showing up on the left, right. I would preferably say not left, right. Keep it on the top or keep it here so that it does not obstruct your face. Third, talk to the camera icon, that dot on your phone, not to the image that you're seeing. If you're not comfortable with the reverse side camera, but if you want to do reverse side, that's the best, because then it does not make you conscious. But the most important is record, rehearse, practice for some time. If you're doing a 60-second video or reel, it's important that we practice, because sometimes we say it so fast, it's not effective, not impactful for the people hearing this or listening to us. Right, that's very important. The most important part of all these is that write your script for some time and also try to make it more relevant to the audience that you're talking about. So maybe a hook line that are you struggling with this, or a trigger would help. A thumbnail always helps get the attention of the audience, and voice modulation is something that you can practice, which means when you want to kind of stress on a particular point, stress on those 3 points first, and when you're elaborating you can go neutral, right? And that's the only practice. So slightly up your pitch when you have to stress on a particular topic. So for example, I say, hey, 3 things or 4 things or 4 steps that I want to talk about. So I kind of stressed on the steps, because then people would remember that I'm talking about the 4 steps. Important for situation-based interviews or competency-based interviews, which is, it's kind of displayed on the text is displayed on the image on the screen, which makes it easier for people to read. So text visibly, visible on the screen, or it's right on the top of your head or here, makes it more easy. That way you can kind of modulate between high tone and low tone and keep it neutral if you are doing a description. Use a lot of hand gestures when you're doing pointers. It's called signposting in public speaking language. It helps people focus on the hands and the finger movement, and it helps them remember that there are 3 or 4 points Surya spoke about or Sandhya spoke about, right? So pretty much this authenticity, voice modulation is record, rehearse, practice as much as possible. And if you're doing a 60-second reel or a 1-minute reel, important to practice, because sometimes we end up saying too short a sentence or too long a sentence and the message does not get conveyed. So 60-second videos definitely needs practice. And other than that, also remember lighting is important. That kind of builds a vibe. And if you're not somebody who's very expressive, try to use a reverse camera so that you're not awkward looking at yourself. If even that does not work, you're somebody who's comfortable using front camera, then look at the camera icon on the phone rather than looking at yourself, which is natural. But rehearse yourself for looking at that icon and talking as if you're talking to that person, and make it conversational, because if you're not talking to the audience, they don't feel it is for them. That's important. And hook line and using gestures and also having text displayed on the top or this this area is always good. It kind of distracts them from your face and moves them away. Not really distracts them, it kind of deviates them from your face and moves them to read the text. And use signposting, 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. That helps people also remember the points faster, right? And that would help you make your video impactful. I would love to see all the members use these tips and record some reel and videos and post it here in the group. Would love to see that. Thank you.